Okay, going live. You are live. Live test. Are we really live? You never know with these kind of things. Are we live? Yes, I think so. All right. I'm not sure if I'm still live or not. It's always weird with these kind of stuff, but if somebody can hear me. And wow, we got the first dislike. Yeah, that's a progress still. I guess generating content. We are going to wait a bit more to see music too loud. Ooh, sorry about that. How about now, Benjamin? That could be the case. It takes a bit. Ping, ping, you're live. Hello, hello, everyone. Hello, Johnson, Adrian. Perfect. Yeah, getting used to these actually, live streams. And since you guys are here, let's just quickly announce this to Twitter and everywhere else. And go, I guess. Hello, Eden, Johnson, Benjamin, Lule, Ardian, CSS Battle. Excited for this live stream? Yeah, I'm excited too, actually. Right now, not a very good rank, 76,000, but I haven't completed all challenges. I'm guilty for that. Yep, let's go, Rage. Thanks. Mos e pisha shumë shqiptar në stream, veç po ju përshëndeti, edhe besoj që gra me fol në vazhdim anglisht, me qenë se ka me pas edhe prej vendeve tjera, po ja kombinojnë a dyqysh edhe se besoj që ka më kam problem. Po, si do qoftë, në ndërkohë muni me më ndalë edhe me pyç ka të doni. CPAL Ilirida. I'm not sure what you're... Ilirida? What's Ilirida? Or Illyria. Okay. So what we actually are going to do today is go through this new battle number 13. You might have seen my thumbnail, my epic thumbnail, Sparta thumbnail, trying to build some hype around this thing. And actually CSS, as everybody knows already, probably at least, for those who watch me, I do a lot of CSS stuff, and I love to do graphics and everything on CSS. And one fact is that I haven't gone into any of these battles for one single reason, because I wanted to do it live, and actually I'm expecting to fail at some of them, and why not fail together and just see the process and learn with it. One crucial thing here is that you have different methods on how you can take entire CSS battle thing. You either do some invalid CSS and actually just reach that score, which is pretty fun to do, but I guess not that much you can learn from it. So what I'm going to try to do this on this stream is that I'm going to build all these objects like properly and not writing some invalid CSS, because there's different methods into it, like for example adding some characters and with font and whatnot. Actually, you can even check the examples. There's a feature here on CSS Battle. You can check the top solutions, but I'm not going to do that, and I haven't done that. Adnan Vila, welcome. Johnson Coast, don't say that you will win. Win against who? I'm 76,000. But I guess maybe win against myself. And we're going to try to do this as fast as possible for some of them, and mostly actually just to have fun. And I can see now that 22 people are actually watching, and thank you very much for joining in. I hope we will have some fun doing this CSS stuff. All right. Okay, so here you can see, for example, that I have already finished 74 targets or played in the past, I think in the past year or so. And I haven't been that active, but always wanted to do this again and saved it for this stream. Hey, Albert, welcome. I can see now that someone, at least from Twitter, joined in, so that's nice always. Okay. Yeah, Mimo, welcome. Brim, let's go for real. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So when we want to build this object, first, like, you want to observe like what kind of objects you're trying to do. And in here you can see how, for example, you can achieve this rectangle underneath here, and then we have kind of circle around here, and then on the middle this small thing, which is kind of simulating the eye, not kind of, but actually trying to simulate the eye. So first of all, we want to just open the style tag. All right, and let's do the body, and we always want to do this margin 0 and add this background. One nice feature is that CSS Battle always will confirm when you copy something. And also during this process, which makes it interesting, is that you can, when you hover into the output, you can grab the slider or just hover with a cursor, and you will be able to see like what you're actually doing, because you want to check this over time and time just to know what you're doing. Okay, so what we want to do now is create a new tag for this. And let's just do a simple div, or this is when you get used to VS Code trying to autocomplete, but here doesn't happen. So let's do the div, and let's display this as flex. And then just let's add it some width and height. Okay, and then we want maybe some border, like 4 pixels solid, and this color, which is here, which 4 pixels actually is quite far from what we want. All right, now let's say border radius. And one thing here, when we do border radius, most of the time people would use like 100%, but usually in that case it would deform your object if there's not proportion between width and height. So I will always use it like fixed, something pixels like this. And we want to position this absolute. We won't be using here grid or something to position the objects. We're going to use just position absolute, since we want to actually draw stuff in here. All right, so top, I would say for beginning like 100 pixels, and from the left 100 pixels, just to be around there. Okay, I guess this is going to be much more on top. And border radius, actually, let's try it out and see how close we are with 20. It's too much. I'm guessing it should be around 14, something like that. All right, so this is going to be quite challenging to draw these, because we don't actually want to do like going through and inspect, because it's not meant to be like that. So kind of you're just drawing on the canvas, like this without looking at the element. Otherwise, if you would do this on the browser and count how many pixels you have here, or even like with screenshotting this, which is exactly to 12 pixels, or Eryan, welcome Eryan. Great to have you here, actually. All right, I'm guessing this is going to be much smaller. But if we want to compare this, is around 112 pixels. 112 pixels, and always when adding border, you want to make sure like box sizing border box to have it. So you are actually taking. Yeah, Arjan, that's actually what I'm going to do, and I'm using this app called, how is this called, Paperlight or something like that, to screenshot. Exactly. Yeah, that would help me much more than doing just on my man. Okay. All right. So if we count this, then it means that we want the box to be 115 or 114, and actually it's quite late, and my eyes are draining, so all right, we're going to do this and do together. Okay, it's more on top, and we want to count that. I'm going to watch the screen so close, which is terrible, but I guess that's the solution. And don't mind my mistakes, guys, because this is the first time actually doing it live. I've done 700 icons on css.g, and it hasn't been more stressing than this. All right, so we're getting close there to do the circle around here. As you can see, it is kind of meeting. I think we are around 1 or 2 pixels off, which could also well be the entire width of the thing, which we are going to count in here, and that's 112. And we have it 114, maybe 112 would, I think we're quite there. Maybe we need here on top 78, or probably by all chances is going to be 77. Let's try and see how it is going. Wow, guys, today my eyes are terrible. I can't see anything. Yeah, the width probably is 12 pixels. Yep, we are close there. Okay, let's count actually the sides here. How far we want to be here is 86, which I'm guessing from the left. Let's try to have it 86 pixels, and almost there. Okay, but what we can also do is add this class and say eyes, and then let's do this the left eye. And again, I'm not trying to, having the max screenshot tool to get sizing is cheating. Or yeah, Kevin, first of all, thanks for joining in, man. This is very nice to have you here. And yeah, I guess it's cheating. I should try without doing the screenshot thing. Yeah, exactly. Actually, I'm cheating when doing that. Shouldn't be doing it. All right. So now what we can do I didn't see you actually joining, but thank you very much for doing that. And for those guys who don't know Kevin is actually the god of CSS. He has like a huge channel, and everybody should go and check him out. But of course, after the stream, let's stay in place first. All right, so let's move on, and let's just say here eyes left for this one, because now we want to do again the right eye. And what we are going to actually do here, it's just say eyes, because we have some combined properties that we want to use. And like for example, we have them both with border radius, position absolute, and we want to use all of these. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Much more fun, but also much more emotional. I can't cope with this. I don't know how you guys do it. I am quite stressing out, and actually I'm not seeing well from this, but yeah, I guess. All right, so we got both eyes like this, and eye left we have positioned, at least at some point. Let's now do the roughed right eye. Okay. We want this probably is going to be from the right around there, and I'm guessing we are going to use at some point maybe 14 pixels solid, but this time with this background, because we want to create that no, actually I wanted to say box shadow 0, 0, 0. We're going to use spread here to achieve that, kind of, which is actually, I'm not going to measure with the with the tool again. Let's try if it's 10 pixels. But I guess this is quite fun actually. I would like to do this much more than I actually do. And now, as you can see, when we hover the object or the output, you can see that it is taking shape, and slowly we're going to achieve that. Okay. I think we're good on left position. We are not as good with the box shadow, and I'm suspecting that the box shadow or the entire thing is more from the right. Or actually, I need to cheat again and measure this object because something is quite off. What if this entire object is 110? Or I'm doing this quite small? Yeah, it would be nice to have a challenge with Kevin, but I guess I would lose immediately. All right, I should probably go back to 114. Let's see where we are going with this. We're a bit off. Imagine how I would do this if I was offline, not live. I think we are somewhere there, but let's do now eyes and before content empty width. Maybe it's around 100 pixels, so let's just get started with that. And we want the background to be like this. All right. And actually we want here also the background to be the body background. Yeah, for sure, Kevin. All right. What we're doing here. Okay, let's see, because now, or actually, let's do this position absolute 2 and just see what we're doing. Like minus 20 pixels where we are at. And what you can actually do is add it underneath. And that is going to help out somewhat. but just for now, we don't want this to be playing out right now. So let's just keep it like that. And then left 0 or minus 10 pixels. Minus, so actually, if we count it this way, should be exactly the border width, which actually we could also declare a variable and use that for the border and then use the same for the negative margin, but we're going to go through and just use plain CSS here. Minus 12 pixels again, somewhere there. And what we actually want to do with this is that the eyes before pseudo selector should be something like this. And the height, we want that again, something like this. Yeah, we're getting somewhere. So now eyes left before is, I think it's meeting there, but I can see 1 pixel there and I don't actually want to test this out. I know that either I'm positioning this wrong from the left, 87, and this would be much easier if I have done this before, but I haven't, so I guess it's going to be quite a challenge. All right. And we don't want to cheat using the screenshot tool. And I can see that there are actually 54 viewers. Wow. That's not like a huge number, but is a very big number for me. Yeah, Ardian, I probably will do that, actually. But my brain is not actually functioning that well right now. First time doing this kind of stream stuff, and it's quite challenging. Okay, we want this on the right. Yeah, it is. It is actually quite annoying to do that. But I guess it takes the fun from the game. Okay, we are going somewhere with this. So what we actually need also to do here is the rectangle in here. We want to use that too. And either we're going to use another time, or actually on the left eye, we're going to use the after pseudo selector, since we're using before. Advice. No, I don't think so. Adrian is very good at this. We're going to we're going to use on the left eye, create another rectangle and attach this to the left eye, like on this position, and actually try to rotate this. All right, so let's go ahead, because for example, I like to build the stuff not in order and just try to build the graphic as much as possible and then try to align the pixels, and by the end just submit and see what we have done. And what would be the main challenge here is to just have it align 100% how the graphic is. Yeah, thank you very much for joining in, Kevin, and hopefully to see you around much more. And yeah, it looks like a pain. Thank you very much, man. Means a lot to me. All right, where were we? Eyes left. All right, let's do the after thing. Oops. And we want to have this around 50 pixels, and then a height of 50 pixels, and then the background should be like this. Yeah, David, I'm not sure about him. Okay. We want also this one. And by the way, when we are done with this, like when we submit the thing and be 100% done with it, we're going to go through it and just do some more stuff into it, like clean up and use variables and stuff, not leave it like it is, because we actually want to learn something out of it, not just as a challenge. All right, so perhaps button and then right minus 40 pixels, something like this. Transform, rotate 45 degrees. Now comes the fun part. 35, maybe 35 here. Are we getting somewhere? Instead of this, I would say it is around maybe 55. Let's try. And then we can play again with the margin. So I'm guessing from the bottom could be, well, 40 pixels. Or that's too much. Ooh, yeah, because we have also the margin, the rotation actually. And let's keep it to 50 pixels. And yeah, for all of you watching, this is what it means doing on daily basis when you try to draw CSS. This is how you can do it, but also on the other hand, there's no good way to debug anything. Actually, what most people do is just like use the all select everything and just like this, and then box shadow and do like 0.001 pixel, which is the spread, and then red. And when you do this, like trying to select everything and just see how it is formed in order to position that, and also inspect. But the challenge here is to draw this graphic without using these kind of tools and these kind of settings. So okay, let's keep on moving where we were here. 35. Let's leave it for now, and we are actually going to move in, because as you can see now, for example, the left side is almost there, right side almost there. We have stuff moving. And what we are going to do now is actually the inner thing. And to be honest, I don't even know if I need to do on the right eye the box shadow, because I could do like this, just so we make this more fun. Width, what do we have the entire box with? 114 pixels, width 114 pixels, and then the height 114 pixels. Let's say background red, and border radius 200 pixels. What did I do wrong here? Width, height. Am I using this somewhere else? Nope. Box sizing, border box, and we also want this absolute and index -1. And what we can do now is that we remove this, and we do this left -12 pixels, and where is it? Bottom -12. Whoa, where we are going with this? I guess nowhere, because we need to overlap. Yeah, I guess we keep it for now with box shadow, because we don't want to actually do this. Otherwise, we're going to end up with a lot of stuff like overlapping everything, and then we would need to just play with z index everywhere actually. So this would mean that z index for the first one should be 1, or no, because then again we would reset that. All right, let's go ahead and do the inner sides, and then we're going to do, let's create a new div here. Okie dokie. We can just keep this like this because we don't actually want to do anything else. And for the eyes, do we have it eyes? Yes. Eyes direct div. We want to, let's say, to this display flex, and then we want to do this background. Wow, this is way harder than I thought, and especially to do this live, because otherwise I would have been blazing over this. Now I know what these other guys have to deal with. Yeah, Elvis, exactly. He's quite high right now. I guess this would make a very nice animation actually, because you could move the eyes and collapse them and do whatever you like. Yeah, okay. So let's do maybe here just background red and remove this so we just know what we're dealing with, because we want to actually do this border. How much did we have this? I think it was around 10 pixels, but do this. And then border box, no, border box. Box sizing, border box. And then border radius, Titan Shala. Imagine having a 10-minute time limit. Ooh, Titan, that would be even worse. Having a 10, but the thing is that I haven't even tested this out before streaming, because I wanted to, if I fail, to fail straight into the stream and not test it out. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure I would have done this like inside of 10 minutes, but I guess what's the fun out of it when you don't challenge yourself? You're gonna get used to it, don't worry. You're doing it nice. Thanks, bro. John, følg med. Edhe në mes se pesha që ka ekstrem shumë shqiptar, mos hezitoni nëse dërë me vetë shka se me dit në gjuhën shqipe shlirë, mos hezitoni. Edhe njëherë shumë faleminderit që jeni bashkangjit në fakt, edhe mos harroni subscribe me bu. Okay, let's go back to this. We're just going to keep the red background here to know what we're actually doing, and what we need to do is border radius 100 pixels. Let's do that, and then what we want to do is border bottom color transparent, or what we actually this is one of these challenges, because if we do this 15 pixels, it's going to happen this thing, which is I'm not very fond of. But what else we can do is actually have this on red like this. Perhaps we want to do this 40 pixels. Ja, Titan, faleminderit shumë. E për vrej e dhona që po më duket Create Albanian Developers ko kanë qëto. Shumë faleminderit. Shumë faleminderit, Titan. Astrid Zeqiri, bro. Thank you. Falem më shumë. Okay. What we want to do now with these inner iris, or how do you call this, of the eye of this all, is that we want to actually create, because I was taking this approach where I'm doing where you can actually do the border bottom transparent and then build the object from it. And that's a very nice way to actually do this. And I have done that plenty of times in my icons. I think one of these that could have it is actually circle. Yeah, the half circle. Yeah. Ah. Yeah, I know. I think I know what I've done here, but I'm not sure if we want to take that approach and use one element. Otherwise, we could just cut everything on with the div. And what we want to do now is instead of having that border, let's keep the red, then overflow hidden, and then eyes straight div. Or this is when you start getting out of the hand, and instead of doing this, we're just going to say class eyes and then inside. And I use these double underlines so I understand what I'm doing better. Like this. Exactly the case for what we, or actually what the poll was the last time that I did. And especially on Albanian developers. Këtë pollin e fundit që e kom pa për CSS specificity. Edhe u konë shumë interesant me kuptu. Që shtu mund është me pa gjatë punës ose kur nuk je koncentrum që shvën gabime pse ka rëndësi me shku mas nej edhe me bo refactor gjatë CSS. Respekt njeri, keep it up. Faleminderit shumë Webi. Alright, let's get back to this. Is getting fun. Thank you. Wow, this is overwhelming actually. I wasn't expecting so much people joining and just being live. I know it's at the end of the day just CSS, but okay. What we want to do now is just declare the content like this and then give it a height of what? Let's do it with fixed pixels because I hate when I have to just make sure if something is working or not. And we want to give this border 10 pixels solid, and then we want to use this color. Okay. And what we're doing here is border top, border radius 100 pixels. No listening user. Thank you. And I'm sorry if I'm going through this and just how to say cutting it off, but I want to also respond to people who are writing on the chat because they took the time to come here and watch this video. Limit me në tërë do këtë ka orë në dislike, për s'ka lidhe apet se ndikon edhe ja mirë në algoritëm. Edhe dislike-at janë të mirë. Okay, and what we're going to do actually now with CSS, with the eyes inside class, if you're going to say like, for example, 15 pixels, we are going to cut this thing, which is actually quite nice. And now let's say 20 pixels from the left, probably top 20 pixels. Did we say position absolute here or not? Yeah, probably Johnson. We're going to have to use something like that. Okay, I usually use this background red color just to identify what we're doing, and we need to position this. Okay. Thank you, Faton. Albert, I'm speaking my mother tongue language, or however you want to say it, is Albanian or Shqip. So when I'm talking on this other language is Shqip. This is where I come from Kosovo or Albania. Put it however you like. Yeah, Yeton, for sure. And by the way, Albert, thank you very much for joining in. Pleasure to have you here. Saw quite some of your last projects. Very nice job. All right. Yeah, Gentrit, exactly. Native language. My brain is not properly functioning. I didn't think that it's going to be so stressful to go on a live stream. All right. Let's cheat a bit here and let's measure this and let's get closer because this is when you need glasses and you don't actually. And it seems that it's 35 pixels from the top. And we're going to do that, 35 pixels. And then we have this around 20 or 30 pixels from the left, which I'm guessing it is something like this. And we are kind of getting close there. Our all is getting built. And maybe right now is the right time to actually explain why people do this and why CSS Battle has become so popular. First of all, it's actually quite fun to do this. And the other thing, and I'm forgetting to talk to the camera actually. And the other thing is that by doing this kind of stuff, you learn a lot about CSS. And it's quite crucial actually to be or actually to learn CSS because nowadays it's much more advanced, as you could see on my last videos with aspect ratio and blend mode and everything. And Albert is saying, oh, I don't understand anything. It sounds to me like Albanian, but I wasn't sure. Yeah, this is Albanian, and you can see a lot of people actually, which I wasn't expecting, on the comments speaking in Albanian. We got a Facebook group which is quite large for us, and a lot of people joined from there and gave me very big support, which I appreciate very much. Yeah, for sure. CSS battles are awesome, and a lot of people are using actually these to just improve their skills. Servicerat Pro, përshëndetje, kyçe. Po, servicerat Pro mundesh pa problem. Vetëm se du të më kryj vetë ose nëse s'ka puna mundesh edhe tash me bo, po ma mirë që ndra dhe në fund më sandej mundesh. Alright. Let's get back to what we're doing. And actually I don't want to submit yet, but it says don't be afraid, you can submit multiple times. We don't want to submit because we want to go through this much better. And actually meantime probably would be very nice from you guys. Somebody has a suggestion, how do we want to deal with this box shadow that we see here on the bottom that is overlapping with the other eye, the right eye and the left eye. That would be interesting to see it go through. Now that I think we could have done this with much more divs, like having the inner thing, another div, or actually even using. Let's actually try this out. Or not. No, we don't want to do that, because then it would just be cumbersome and a lot of divs. And all right, now we have kind of on position the eyes. I think everything, we have the eye a bit too much on the left, so we want the left eye to be from the left. Let's measure this sucker. 85, and we have 86. Or this could well be 90 pixels, and it is actually 90. Now when you can see, like for example, when I overlap with this, what this is doing, there is an image on top of everything, and when you scrub with the cursor, it will show up like this and letting you know like what is going on. And when I move from the left side, you can notice how on the inside there is a very small difference on what we're doing. But this is actually, as Kevin said, quite a pain to deal with. I didn't expect that this would be much harder than the rest. Yeah, Johnson, is always like this. You think that you know it for a moment and then you don't. Okay. I guess if we are on the left 90 pixels and with the right eye we want to be also 90 pixels, which I'm guessing also is too much, or is it? We're kind of there. I think with everything I'm missing around maybe 1 pixel or 2, as you can see. You have to scrub a lot of times, but to achieve this 100% graphic would be quite hard. I guess at least on the live stream. Yeah, John, on your right? On our left. Yeah, I guess, but no, I also think right now it's a bit too much, which doesn't actually help. All right, we're getting closer, but as you can see here on the right side, we got this. Good job, was it? Oh, thank you, Liridan. Thank you very much. What we have a problem here, as you can see, is that if you check in here, like on the right side on the top, we are actually with my what I've done so far is that I've used the box shadow. Where is that? It's here. And if we actually remove this and just do it red to see what we're doing box shadow to achieve this cut out, which is kind of not possible to do with pure CSS like this, because now we got the pseudo selector also for the eye right before, which is supposed to go above the shadow. So potentially what we could do here is create another div, cut that, add the background, and then move it 12 pixels from the left. But I'm not actually quite sure if I should do that. Thinking here, what would be another idea? Or actually, what we could also do is minus 10 pixels and minus 10 pixels. This could be 0, not minus 10 pixels. That's too much. Or no, this could be 0 actually. No, minus 10, around minus 10 or 12. And this could be, well, 0, which is kind of what we want to, but I'm guessing that we need to cover this area to achieve that, which we're missing. And you can't actually do this with the spread operator, because if we do this spread function on shadow, then it's going to overlap into the right side, and we don't actually want that to happen. But we can also try one more thing just for fun, since we can overlap shadows, and we could probably try like this. I'm not very fond of this idea, but if it works, it works, and it is a challenge. We are almost there, but as you can see, we're missing some pixels. And this is getting into some dangerous area where we just write like that style. Okay, let's clean this up a bit. And actually, let's say to this primary color. Or actually, let's do this primary color. Or maybe just call it primary. And then we could call this for the sake of this tutorial background, and just go through these and organize them a bit. All right, border of the eyes is the color primary. And this is the fun stuff. Maybe not. I'm literally booting up VS Code so I can find a solution. Yeah, do so. Dritan Cherimi, eyes inside border box. Eyes inside, where's that? What we have done wrong? Dritan, what you're referring to exactly? Because right now, probably... Oh, well, this is why you guys need glasses, and thanks for bringing this up, Dritan. I didn't even see that. Actually, this is border box like this. Yeah, I saw that now. Thanks for that. Eyes inside box as you did instead. Exactly. Yeah, thank you, Mentor. And that's why you you need glasses when you don't see well, and especially on a live stream. All right. We're doing here primary color, and actually this is why you want to also use variables and just make your life easier when doing CSS. Because now, for example, if I want to change, let's add this into another place where we have this one, and this 2.7, which is this, then is this one, then we don't have it anywhere else. And one other tip that I could give to everyone is that if you define the color, let's say like this, which is actually the background itself, then you can just, oops, I removed everything. You can remove the actual box shadow color, because this, it would inherit from the color itself. Or you could just say current color, and still that works fine. And actually, current color is one of the most unused things. You can't escape another circle on the right eye, right, for the viewers. Can you do, Titan is saying, can you do another div on the shape of circle with the black background, then the right yellow circle, put it on top of the black one? Yes, actually I was thinking to do that, and by the end of this, probably I'm going to end up doing exactly that. Yeah, because if I'm not probably going to do that, I'm not, actually it's not even possible to achieve exactly the shadow that we have on the original design without doing another block, because we're kind of just faking it with box shadows in here. All right. One, as I was saying about current color, one fun thing that you can actually do is, even if you define on a parent, it will inherit that. And that is why you actually want to use all the times, or where possible, the variables. And let's add it for here too. Do we have somewhere else the background? Nope, so far. And we're going to change that to something else. And now, for example, if I want to make everything red, it's going to become red. And this is the fun on using these kind of features on CSS. And actually they are quite stable, and you can use them in production actually. And everybody is. All right, let's just go ahead and try to submit this and just see how far we are, because I'm probably going to have a result around 90 something, but let's just try it. Submitting. Fingers crossed. Ooh, quite close. We are at 593.22 characters, or 99.8 match, which is crazy, but not how I would be able to do this if I was offline and not on a stream, but still 99.8% match is quite good. And actually what is fun is that whenever you submit something, your rank gets recalculated and you go up the ranks. But this is just one of them. And yeah, we are at 76,000, which is very far away. And one good tip that you can do quickly to make this go on a higher rank is do it like this and have it everything on one line. And then we could remove the spaces so we just achieve a higher result before we submit and move on into the next one. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you very much. And wow, actually still 50 people around here. That is crazy good. Thank you very much for all this time and being here. One other thing, because now we actually are trying to minimize everything and just have a higher score, because right now we are at 593 characters and we actually want to go lower than that. What you can also always consider is that if the last prop doesn't actually need to have the semicolons on the end, because that works without it. And one other thing we could do also is just have the classes. Thanks, bro, John Filima. And what you can actually do is have these classes named much more shortly, and even using attributes, which basically just is going to end up working fine and also doing it inline. But as I said, I'm not going to go through that and do with inline style. And why I hate actually inline style is just because of SEO, and yeah, you don't want to be doing that. This is a bit cumbersome because we don't have an actual editor here, and you want to do this like this, but then there is the fun part that, and we missed here some semicolon, so we want to remove that too. So 98, that was close. Yeah, it is close. We could have done this 100%, but I guess there's no time actually, and we are trying to do this as manual as possible. And if for you guys it's not interesting, let me know and I will actually stop going through this like I'm doing just to make the higher score. And after this, I'm going to show you some of the people who are like top solutions and how they do it, and actually see the difference what I was talking about earlier, why those are actually not valid. Because one interesting thing is, just to increase the score here, I can remove style and still it will work, like the closing one. And even on the HTML, if you don't close one tag, it's going to assume that, but it's going to also introduce a lot of problems with the siblings and mixing everything up. So let's not go through that. And that's actually why I was referring that I'm not going to do everything like that, because I wanted that at least if one person has learned something out of this, for me, this entire stream has done the job. Top solutions are crazy. Yeah, man, Albert, that's true. And actually, I'm sometimes afraid even to open those, and I don't open those because it gets very fast. It gets crazy on what these guys are capable of doing, but also I don't like that hacking method out of it. And because I don't know, it removes kind of the fun from doing this. So yeah, let's go quickly, just remove these spaces, and I don't want to go on VS Code or something. And we can remove current color, we can remove current color. Here, hidden overflow. Johnson, that's very good actually. I guess if somebody learns something out of this and just know how you build these objects. And actually this is a stream for this battle, which Most of you guys probably have seen the thumbnail and got shocked into what I went through to do that. I used to do a lot of Photoshop. Arjan Perloska, good job, man. Thank you very much, Arjan. You've been actually, Arjan is one of those guys who has supported me a lot during this entire journey and just chatting. And I'm not sure if one guy is here, which I want to shout out, or ose ma mirë me fol në shqip, ku është Erioni. Erion Skënderi. Njëri tjetri të thojnë shqipeca. Nuk e dia është në chat halo, po si do qoftë, nëse është në chat e përshëndes shumë live. Alright. Let's not switch back and forth between languages. Maybe it's better. Okay, so we are at 593 here, and we should see this as much better right now when we submit. And we can put it even further if we say, for example, I write ER. I write ER. Do we have that somewhere else? No. ER. Like this. I left. EL. EL for the left eye. Again, EL for the left. Oops. EL. And you can actually do even just an attribute here, L, and put it inside of the brackets, and still it would work. EL. But we don't want to break everything out. And eyes inside, just E and I. E and I. And I'm not sure how long this stream has been, but wow, how many people are there? I think 52. Wow, that's nice. Thank you very much for everyone staying here. What did we do wrong? Eyes inside, E and I. What we're doing wrong here? All right, I think it's enough, and let's just not go through this more, because I think we are going to break everything since we minimized. And let's try again to submit and see what we did. Ooh, 582 characters. We removed some characters, but oh, we broke something actually. I don't understand what's going on with eyes inside. Oh, I missed this class. Did somebody I was proud of my code after my first battle, but my rank was 500,000. Top solution had 5 times 6 less characters. Yeah, Albert, it's crazy. I always get so proud when I finish a battle, and then when I go through it, it's just horrible. Some guys do it in 10 characters, which is crazy. Not actually in 10 characters, but somewhere there. Okay. And we're not going to push this further. Let's just do a submit again. Again, 99.8% match. And we're going to leave this at this point. And again, for everybody listening here, ose për krejt ata që kanë me talat të ndëgju, do më shku edhe një challenge tjetër me me vazhdu me të, edhe kushdo që mbetet në battle kisha falendëruar shumë, po për ndryshe komunitetit të developerave shqiptar shumë faleminderit për këtë supportin edhe për këtë juve që jeni bashkangjit. Për ndryshe mos harroni CSS.GG ka njëherë me vizitu me përdor ikonat. Right, and for those who are still in here, I think that this is good enough for this challenge. It has been way harder than I actually thought it would be. And what we could have done better here is that we could use much more markup to achieve this exactly how the representation is, and not be at 99.8% match. And now let's just see, because I hate to... Awesome job, Astrid, loving your energy. Thank you very much, Mimo. And this is one of the reasons why I hate to check these top solutions, because when I do so, it influences a lot the way how I think and how I want to achieve this. And I just want to torture myself a bit. So that's why I don't go into actually checking top solutions or anything. And if you go into top solutions, you can see, oof, this is crazy what actually people do. Like, for example, this guy Gunnar Bittersman, he has a 643 100% match. But thanks, Mentor, and Lona, thank you. And this is what these guys are actually doing. And just to make sure with that we're yeah, let's actually just save this into our 13.html. Let's just save this for now, because I don't want to make sure that I lose everything, even though it gets saved into the thing. But yeah, let's just have it there. All right, if we go now into the top solutions, which is pretty crazy, and this guy Ilya, for example, he's always scoring the top on the charts, and you can see how and what they're doing here. And they're actually using, for example, radial gradient, which is pretty smart. I didn't think of this, and you could actually well do this with gradients, because you can overlap them pretty nicely and use as much as you like. And what I don't like about these top solutions is that they're actually using characters, which is, let's see, I think this is a, oh, Glyphio, what is, there's a nice site for this. I think, yeah, I think this is the one. And if you go here, you can, for example, find characters like this one could be, and then just applying the font, which I guess still is a smart solution, but I'm not a big fan of that kind of doing with characters and then defining the fonts. But if we load, oh, is this actually even working? Ah, this is one of the problem. This is one of the of these problems. Even it throws an error now that I loaded the solution from this guy, which is actually on the leaderboard. And that's why I still like to stick to what I did, because my style is better. And Iliriane is asking, which editor do you suggest for frontend? This is, I would like to say, a hard question, but these days is quite easy actually. Just go ahead and use VS Code is fine, and not just for front end. I think VS Code is the top used code editor in the last years. Some people still use Atom from GitHub, and I don't actually know any more guys who are using brackets from Adobe. I used to use that and it worked very good, but then switched to VS Code and never looked back. And there's also Sublime Text, which actually started everything out, and all the features that you see, if I'm not mistaken, Sublime Text and everything came, I mean, the Emmet abbreviations and stuff came from Sublime Text. But Ilirian, again, I would suggest that you go with VS Code. And right now, actually, what is the best is that you can sign in. Like, for example, I did sign in here with my GitHub account, and then it syncs everything up, like extensions and the stylings. And I use this default GitHub dark theme, which I like, but whatever settings that you're setting up, you can use those. Like, for example, custom shortcuts, and then I don't know, editors, extensions, and whatnot. Like, for example, I have quite some extensions like bookmarks, and I like to use these as how to say, like, have as less distractions as possible. Like, for example, the brackets highlighter, I like to use that just with an underline and highlighting these, which are quite nice actually. Yeah, and also, by the way, since you just said that, I'm going to show you guys this, which is, am I logged in here into GitHub? I don't think so, because I'm using this, and I'm going to open a new window and just show you guys one nice thing, since Illyrian brought this up. Let's go ahead into one repository of mine, which have I launched this? Code Spaces. I think for most cases, Code Spaces is going to be a quite... Elvaris said Vim. Ooh, now you're getting into some dangerous territory. I don't know Vim. I've tried multiple times to use Vim, and especially, for example, when I'm using terminal, and sometimes I tried to replicate like Vim with some extensions on VS Code, and just to be able to write everything with the keyboard and without using the mouse at all. But I guess, yeah, that's quite a learning curve. And for you, Illyrian, since you raised this question, and actually, again, there's a lot of options out there, but what I'm liking the idea of lately is this GitHub code spaces, and you can create, let's try, have I done one of these? I think I have repositories. Let's check this out. And for those who haven't seen, if you do on GitHub a repository that it is same as your username, that is going to show up on your profile. And actually, probably this is a good tip for you guys if you want to do this in here, like having this how to say, biography larger and do anything, then it's just marked down, and you're able to add that into your profile and basically add anything you like. And for this repository, I think I have open code spaces. Yes, I have a active one. And again, to go to the question that Illyrian asked, and what I try to do all the time, and just make my process easier of, ooh, this page is taking too long to load. What I try to do is make it as easy as possible as a front-end developer, especially because I guess on some stacks it's not possible to be done, just to make it easy to switch in between devices. And what I'm trying to do is actually start working from an iPad, which iPad Pro is quite powerful, and especially with the new chips. And you can do that actually with GitHub code spaces, since it works on the browser and you can have everything there. Like, you don't actually need much more than that for the front end. But it's another case about other technologies. Yeah. Elvaris, well, I still don't know how to quit, but it seems something cool. I'm not sure if you're referring to Vim still, but yeah, Vim is quite nice. Actually, I've seen some YouTube tutorials. This doesn't want to load, but anyways, let's just skip that because it's not loading. And what I was trying to say is that basically it is almost as same as VS Code, but straight into the browser. And while we are talking, now it loaded, and now I understand why, because there is an update. So as you can see, now we have it on the browser, everything, and as you can see also is transferring or updating all my extensions. Yeah, Arjan, that's I was very happy when I learned the first time how to quit Vim. And actually the first lesson that everybody learns about Vim is how to exit, I guess. That's the first lesson. All right, to get back to this, like as you can see here, it's just as fun as everything. Vim being good to commit the merge conflict messages. So basically, Illyrian, to get back to what you were saying, or actually asking, this is what I suggest that you should try out, the code spaces, because in that case, then probably in the future you would be able to just work from your phone and stuff, because somebody who is in this chat, actually, Johnson, which is my nephew, he is quite young, but he got started doing websites and stuff on his mobile phone, and this actually just enables you pretty well to do this. Close terminal, open again. Oh. What's your actual question, Albert? Close terminal, open again? Or are you referring to Vim still? Yeah, Adrian, code spaces are great. But unfortunately, they are probably not going to be free. Anyways, enough with this editors. And what I suggest also one other thing to everybody who's using Mac, go ahead and try using this rectangle app, which helps you to manage windows. And for example, whenever I when I press Command Shift 1, it will put it on the left, and for the other one, Command Shift 2, and it will put it on the right, and I can just simultaneously work pretty nicely like this. But let's work it on full screen. Okay, let's go ahead into CSS Battle again, and let's see on the front page one that is fun to do. And I think this one looks nice, and we are going to speed this up a bit and go through everything quickly. I think you have to get invited by GitHub to use code spaces. Yes, you do. You have to be invited to use code spaces. It's still on beta. All right. Let's do this quickly because I want to finish one more challenge. I actually initially thought to do the entire challenge number 13, but I guess that is just impossible for tonight at least. Okay, as usual, body margin 0, background. Let's start it properly. Background. Let's get into this. All right. Still Vim jokes, man. Continue. Yeah, I guess. Alde Krasniche, hi. All right. How we want to tackle this? We see the head of the snake in here, which is quite interesting shape. It is not completely rounded up because on the left side it is a bit less border radius than on the right side. So let's go ahead and call this snake head, and then snake head width, let's say for now 40 pixels, height 18 pixels or something like that. Background, let's create a new variable. How to call this? Let's just say color for now. For when we go into the end, one neat thing is that you can actually, with variables, you can do it like this. If somebody didn't know, you can just actually have 3 spaces and 3 dashes and use that as a variable, which is pretty fun. And this way you actually keep the amount of characters using as minimal as possible. Yeah, thank you for that, Titan. I missed it. See, that's why it's nice to always do these streams. Like, for example, you get more help to achieve the best result. All right, the color. What we're going to try out here, and I'm going to show you a fun... Oh, I can't activate here the emojis. I want to do this S flag. Oh, wow. Why doesn't that work? In there is quite weird, actually. Let's get the Albanian flag as emoji here. Let's be more... Ah, goddamn, I can't use this emoji. Why? Do you call them emoji or something else? Pushing the limits, man. Yeah, I'm trying to do that, but I'm actually quite surprised. I mean, it works, but I'm not sure why they throw this as error, because you can see, for example, now that I'm using the Albanian flag, which actually has nothing to do with the color itself, it will read it wrongfully. So let's not play with our flag. Let's just keep it as a C. Yep. So this way we are actually going to have as less possible characters. But also one thing that you don't want to necessarily define is like saying always background while you're just going to use the color, because that on rendering part it gets and Ryan said, "Wow, I didn't expect that you will draw our former president." That's funny, man. I don't want to get into politics, but I guess, yeah, this is our ex-president. Yeah, let's not get through that because I can get angry very fast. That's funny though. The snake. Oh my god, this is such a coincidence. And actually, what I'm thinking now, should I just name this class as him, or like he used to sign his Facebook posts and stuff, like HSH, or how he was doing it. All right, let's do the head thing and border radius. Let's keep it 40 pixels for now, and we want this absolute, yeah, snake, right? Again, let's cheat a bit. Let's just count this out. I think it should be around 90 pixels from the right. 90 pixels. And one other thing what we could do is, for example, right margin, let's call this, and just say 90 pixels. So if we have something else that we want to position from the right side, like 90 pixels, then we could just easily change that. And instead of going to change every single possible option. And now that we have from the right, we want to position this also on top, which is probably around 130 pixels or 32. Our right margin and top margin, let's just call it like this. And one fun thing that you can actually do for those, because this is nice for those who stay till the end. You have, if you want to achieve higher scores in here, you can use percentage, and that message about using different rendering from both, because many players try to use Unicode to create shapes. They are fine for naming. Yes, Ilya. I get that. Do you really want me to name this snake Hashim? Because then Hashahead. Well, if we want to put it that way, we can do like CSS like Hashim. Oh my god! And then, but no, let's not do that. Let's keep politics out of my beloved CSS. All right. The top, the top, we want that to be 132 pixels, and obviously this is way narrower than it should be, so let's do this probably 40 pixels or not 20 pixels, 30 pixels, or we just measure this around 30 pixels, and the width is 50. Yeah, we are somewhere close. Maybe we would want to do the head onto the left with some other border radius. So probably that's, even though 10 pixels is not what we actually want, how it goes is 10 pixels on the left, 40 on the right, and then again 40 pixels, and then 10 pixels. And we don't... around 30 pixels, I would say. We are somewhere there, but not quite, because we actually want to deform the edges just slightly, but maybe around, and we are slightly off from the top, around 2, 3, 4 pixels. Let's try 35. I think we have the vertical axis on point with the head, and we actually want now to position this properly from the right, which is around 80 pixels, maybe. Yeah, Johnson, something like that. Something like that. All right, about the snake head. What we want to do here is create another before pseudo selector and then have the content empty, and then just display this as flex. Although I don't think if we're going to leave this position absolute. And do we have a head with the position? Yes, we have this absolute, so it's fine. Since we have on snake head position absolute, we don't need to care about going out of the way. And then background, we want to have for this, what was the main background? Yeah, this is the var with just the with just the dashes, and then the width, I guess it's around 4 pixels or 6 pixels. What we're doing wrong here? 6 pixels. Yeah, 6 pixels is way too small, and 10 pixels maybe. That would be better. And then we want here border radius to be, let's say, 10 pixels for now, and then we want this on the right 10 pixels, and then on the top 5 pixels, 6 pixels. Let's just roughly position this, because what I try to do with these graphics, or whatever you call these stuff on CSS, I just try to position them approximately, and then as we go on, like doing them or having them on their correct position. Okay. We want to do this position absolute, and just have this around, we can measure this actually, around 10 pixels. No, actually not 10 pixels, but, or yes. And on top, maybe 3 pixels. And what we can do now is, instead of doing another after, or just since the difference is nothing in between this and the other eye for the snake, like it would be the right eye, then you can just do this with box shadow. And we have this, and we want to have this on top is 3 pixels. Perhaps is going to be more, 3 more pixels. Oh, we're doing this wrong. 10, 12, we are quite there. And actually this should probably be on top 2 pixels. Yeah, I think so. And this could be, well, 15 pixels in between. Yeah, so this is a nice way how you can actually build an object, like using box shadow. And I have used this a lot on the CSS.GG project when building all those icons. Like, you're very limited when you want to use just one div, and that's why you want to utilize also box shadow, which kind of fakes it because you're using the box shadow, and you want to be careful where you're going to overlap stuff and when you exactly need it to be transparent. But since it works here and is a challenge, we're not quite doing production level CSS, we can go ahead with this. And then what we want to do is actually build this, or the body of the snake, and we want to keep this at least, maybe just let's slightly put it into the right, and then we do it correctly. All right, so what we want to do now is the actual body, and to do this you can use different methods. And as you can see here, you probably want to create this part in here, like the top part, and join it with the rest, like create this double border and cut it on the middle, and then do it on another div and just rotate that, or do it on the other axis to achieve the body like this. Okay, and let's do snake div class snake body 1. That would be body, not, but just call it part. Let's just keep it like this, so we are actually able to identify easier while going through this. All right, and we're going to say display flex to this, or actually snake part 1. I think I'm doing, no, okay, it's good. All right, so we want to measure this, and it is around 70 pixels wide, 70 pixels, and we want it to be around, because as soon as it touches the curve, you want to stop there, because normally you can't do this with like normal CSS, you can't do it, and that's why you want to stop there. And it is around 87 pixels. So let's do 87 pixels. Now border, let's do this 6 pixels. This is the fun part. And which color was the color? Yes, this is the variable. Okay, we are getting somewhere, but I'm guessing this has, because we're doing like 12 pixels, 18 pixels. Although the spacing in there is going to be a problem in between these two, like having the border and then doing the spacing in between these two items, which is probably going to force us to use box shadow to simulate the inner border. But I guess this is the actual challenge, border radius. And we want on the left to be at least 70 pixels. We want on the right side to be at least 70 pixels, and then we want 0, and then we want 0. And then we want border bottom color to be transparent, and we reach this. But oh, this introduces another problem, that these two would actually overlap in here, and we want also box sizing border box. Okay, wow, this is actually getting way longer than I anticipated. Okay, to do the spacings, let's cancel this and do 4 pixels solid, or even more, 6 pixels solid. And then we actually want to just have this with the same width, 70 pixels, height 87 pixels. It's a tough one. Yes, Albert, it's quite tough actually. I wasn't expecting, because I was initially, when I saw this, just the image, I was thinking like it's quite an easy one because I could just use the double borders, but the spacing in between double borders is actually quite challenging to achieve. And that's why in this case I can't even use this. But what something else that we could do is, let's try with box shadow actually. Just have it 0, oops, box shadow 0, 0, yeah, 0, and then 6 pixels, and then the color. And then we could do border solid. Let's just make it transparent for now. Transparent. And see how far we can go with this. And position absolute. Then from the left, let's just place it like 100 pixels. And top 40 pixels. Okay, box shadow is this, and then we can do inset and 0, 0, 0, maybe 6 pixels, and then do that again with the color. Clip path inset would help here. You could clip the double shadow shape you had before. Yes, that's true actually, Mimo. I could use clip path here, but let's keep the theme into doing this exactly with CSS. Let's torture myself. All right. So now what you can actually do here, since we're doing this way, like having box shadow and then box shadow inset, we're actually defining this insides. But to achieve the space now, because we're saying transparent, which actually box, we could just say border color transparent. Or let's keep it like this, because we might actually again change this. Border 4 pixels solid, we don't want that, maybe 10 pixels. Let's measure how big is the distance in between these. Yep, it is past 10 pixels. And the width of these are 5 pixels. We are getting somewhere. Maybe we want this on the left, 110 pixels, around that. And actually the width could be, well, 6. Oh, we forgot this. We have to delete this. We want this on the left, or let's just do it. Yeah, we can keep it on the left like this, as you can see. And now we want from the top, let's measure this. And we are actually using box shadow, which you necessarily don't want to measure. And even though we are doing box border, still box shadow is outside. So you want to take in consideration that 5 pixels. If I'm seeing this correctly, I'm seeing here 36, which is, wow, I'm so bad at this. So bad at math, actually, not not this necessarily, but we want to add this 45 because we said the box shadow. Yeah, and we have it exactly at the top. And as you can see now, when I swipe from the left and the right, you can see how the object is matching. That's nice. And now let's measure from this area to quite some space in here. So we want this around 190 pixels. Yeah. Okay, so snake part 1. We want to do this. And then overflow hidden, and then width 60 pixels, and the height 190 pixels. And then we want to rename this, call it before, and then the content. All right. And actually we want this position absolute, which we are actually now. We want now to add the styling into before, but we want to cut that with the parent actually, which is 60 pixels wide, 190 pixels width, and then positioning we don't need actually on this one, so we are going to add it here. And now that I think of this, we are using the box shadow, which necessarily means that we want to do this 10 more pixels, which is 70, and this should be 200 or around there. And then we want to say this to top 5 pixels, and then on left 5 pixels. And then with this, we could just play out and cut everything out, as you can see here. And for fun, you can actually even have this 290 just to make sure that you can clip it whenever you like to do that. All right, this is the first part, and for the most part, you can also repeat this. One other way how you could actually do this when I think of it now, we could use also box shadow, like build a object that is quite narrow and have as equal as the border here, and then by that just having it positioned on from the start here, and then just using box shadows to repeat that, and then building just the how to say, the curve here on top, and then you could have another curve for the bottom and achieve this. But do we actually want to do that? Let's go ahead and do it. Let's call this snake stripe, and snake stripe. Let's do width. What was the amount of the border? Is 5 pixels. 5 pixels. Height 190 pixels maybe. Background var color. Position absolute. Right around 60 pixels. Not really. 100. Where's the first line that starts in here? Let's just measure this. From the right is 220 pixels. Right, 220 pixels. Or even less than that. 210. Let's call this as red, so we just know what we're actually doing. 10, maybe it's 200. Is it? Is it? No. Oh, wait, it's actually 215 probably. Do you guys see where I'm going with this? I'm going to actually just do this from the right. I'm not sure why I'm going through this again, but let's just keep it on the right for 210 pixels, and then the height could well be 108 pixels and 50 pixels from the top. And as I said, you want to actually measure this. Just be sure right at the point where it does the curve to start at that point, which is height 95. So we want to add this probably 70, or let's just straight do 95 pixels, but that's too much. 85, 80 pixels is going to be good, I guess. 150, around there. Okay, let's do it teal so we see it better. All right, with this now, let's just rename this for the moment, because we're still going to use this. But now what we're going to do is box shadow, because this will enable us to do some fun stuff like we can define everything by this, because we're going to use actually the color, let's say just teal here. And yeah, now box shadow minus 10 pixels, 0. Now let's close this. Minus 10 pixels in between should be 20 or 15 pixels, because we have the object. All right, now the shadow, or that one between that and this, should be around 30 pixels. So let's do another shadow minus 50 pixels, 0. We're quite close, but not as close as it should be. Minus 65 pixels and 0 for the other one. And then we are going to use this only once more, because the last one is actually quite smaller than this one. And that's why we want to do this. Okay. Okay, now let's do again minus 85 pixels, 0, and we have it there, but it's around maybe 100 pixels. And then let's keep it for now, minus 115 pixels, and then 0 again. So we are not quite there, because we have to have these curves on the top, which we actually did with the part 1, and we are going to enable that now. And as you can see, how we are slowly getting there. Snake part 1 is there on top, and we are going to need to create another part here. We're going to call that part 2. I'm not sure if there's a better way to actually name these. Then you can copy this and just simply do part 2. And we're not going to go through like writing everything. Cool trick. Yeah, thank you. This is the thing with these, Adyan, with these kind of illustrations, is all about tricks and simulating that graphic while actually completely something else is happening on the actual code. All right, so about part 2, what scale Y? I think we can actually, yeah, we don't actually need to even do this, because we could just say snake part 2, or have it like this, which is quite shorter actually. And instead of saying snake part 1 and snake part 2, we can say snake curve and have the same design for every curve. But just to identify, we can keep this as part 1 for now, and we can say snake part 2, for example, scale to -1. And then we could say like this. All right, so basically all of these are going to actually be the same design, but we are just going to play with them, like rotating up and down however we need, because we are going to actually create one more on the top for that one and rotate, and one on the right. So we're saying to this scale -1, the second part, but as you can see now it's getting quite a lot on top here, so we don't actually need the entire thing. And we're going to go to snake curve and make this way smaller, which probably even 70 pixels is going to be enough. Yeah, kind of. Let's say, I think we're doing here something very funny. I'm not sure which one of these is, but Root is sending some fire, and Elvaris, thank you. I hope you like this trick. But yeah, let's position this now. Did we say curve to be yeah, position absolute? So we can just basically say now bottom, how much do we need this? Or am I doing this correctly? Did I say to the snake curve that we want this on position? Yeah, and that's the case when you don't actually want to do this and have it even smaller. I would say around there, and then play around with parts, like for example snake part, the number 1, we want that to be on top, let's say 40 pixels. Are we somewhere there? Yes, I guess. And then we want this to be on the bottom, let's say around 40 pixels. We are somewhere there. And then we want this on the right, maybe 120 pixels. And now we want on the curve itself to remove, oh, we're writing left actually. And we want to do this on the first one as left 120 pixels. And then we want this on the left. Let's define how much we want this, and it is going to be, what, 60 pixels? Or even less. What am I doing here? Oh, no, wait. 60, 70 something. Yep, and we're getting somewhere. One thing that we want to change now is to just see it work. Is let's create the other curve, which is number 3, and let's position this one here. Let's call this snake part 3, and this one is going to be again positioned same as transformed on scale vertical -1, since we want the opposite and achieve this. And then we want the other part, which is number 4, and let's create another one here, number 4. And we don't want to scale this one, but we want this on top, and we want this on left, what, around 10 pixels? Something like that, maybe 15 pixels, nope. 20 pixels. Oh my, it is getting quite beautiful actually. Now let's go ahead and try to replicate this one here, the right side, which I'm pretty sure that we are going to need to do something more extra, which is first transform and then scale of vertical -1. And have this on the top, maybe 60 pixels. What are we doing wrong here? I think I touched something accidentally. Oh. Wait. Number 4. It is already set. I'm not sure what you mean, Johnson, it is. Number 4. Now we need number 5. Which we're going to name it here, number 5, and then we need this one to transform and then scale vertical, as we said, -1, and then we want this on top around, let's say 60 pixels, no, 160, something like that. Then on the left, minus, how wide is this curve again? It's 70. Ooh, that's why it can be correct actually. But let's say minus 160 left, minus 15 pixels, 35 pixels. Kind of. We're almost there. Almost there. Snake stripe. Snake small stripe. Now we are going to replicate. It's getting more beautiful. Yes, it is. Snake stripe. Where is that? We want to copy that. Snake stripe, 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 stripe. Yes. Snake small stripe. Did we say it like that? Small stripe. Yes. Let's just say red now. We don't want to actually position that there, so it is going to be on the left around 30 pixels, 35, yep. And it is going to be quite smaller, less than that, 80 pixels, is it? Kind of. And this is this is interesting. When you say, for example, color teal, and then you say background red, even though you're defining it, box shadow always takes the color, and that's why you're being able to see some combinations in between these. All right, we want to play with this a bit, but let's keep it just red here so we differentiate between the other ones. And actually, my eyes are bleeding from seeing this wrong. Minus 30 pixels. Yep. Now you can see it's not quite into the point, but tweaking it a bit, we are getting quite there, actually. All right. Let's oops. Minus 30. We want to do this 15. We have positioned it, so we want to keep actually this one. But what we are going to do now is that we want to add another one in here, or actually 2 more stripes in here. And the way how we can do that is just basically repeat what we did with the first one, and just a matter of counting the pixels on what we are going to have here. So let's say 200 pixels. And this is the fun that I like with doing these graphics, and why I feel passionate about when you sometimes just hit into the point, you type in the amount of the pixels you want, and it's right there. Oh my god, this is so fun. All right. Now we want to position that more down because we want it more like this. 70. I think it's overlapping a bit, but not so much, maybe 65 pixels. Even though, as I see this, which the guys who actually designed this were quite smart about it, because probably we're not going to be able to use the same height, but let's see how it ends up on the end. And we have to do another shadow here, which is going to be actually 100 and how much was it? 80, maybe 85. Yes, it's there. For those who still are here, I can see, I'm not sure if it's real time, but I can see 32. Wow, it has been quite a journey, and thank you very much for staying so far. And I'm hoping that you guys have learned something new. So if anybody is alive, be alive on the chat, and thank you very much for the support. All right, now let's just make this even better by removing the actual colors. Let's go to snake stripe. We don't want to be teal. We want this as the color. We want the background to be as the color. We are alive. Wow, Albert, I didn't expect that from you, and I can see the passion now from a front-end developer. Thank you for being around here, man. Yeah, I didn't even expect that it will last 2 hours, actually. This is quite crazy. If I had practiced, I would have done this, I'm pretty sure, inside of 20-15 minutes, but no, I didn't. I wanted to do live, so here we are. But I hope you're having fun, so that's what is important. All right, let's go ahead and remove this. We are quite there, quite close to the end. We are doing art with CSS. Isn't this cool? Snake stripe, let's do this 60 pixels, and let's try to position this from the top 90 pixels. Ardian, we are alive. Thank you very much, my friend. 80 pixels. Ooh, this is a bit tricky, but because it's getting a bit... I think I'm going to need 80 pixels. I'm writing an article and I'm listening to you on phone. Oh wow, that's great, Albert. What is the article about? Because I see that you post a lot of that kind of stuff, so I'm going to read that probably. All right, so the only thing left, as you can see, we built the snake, and now we want to connect the snake with the head, and which is actually this corner here. I'm not sure if it's because I'm tired or this is going to be the last part and challenging part maybe. But snake curve, that's what we need. But we need to replicate this a bit differently, because as you can see, we don't have the advantage of having something on the corner like this on the left side, where we just have hidden the object underneath. And actually, wow, I'm so off into the left side. Left side needs to be much more on top. And this, actually, I'm going to measure this, is around 50 pixels. So I'm guessing 50 pixels is going to be enough. And then the part 5 on top, 20, something like that. I hit the nail on the head with this one. All right. Oh, now things are connecting. Snake, small stripe, shadow on the right needs to be around 70, 85. I'm guessing 90 pixels is going to cover this. And then we need this one too. 90 pixels. Did we do the height here correctly? I think so. All right, this is going somewhere, and now, as I said, we need to do the last part, which is this curve here, but we need to duplicate that, and snake curve is going to actually be snake right curve and right curve. Okay, and let's do this instead of this color, let's just say red for now, so we see what is going on. Or actually, in this area is teal, what we're seeing easier. Snake curve, snake right curve. Okay, now the right curve is not as round, or it is, but we want this to be around maybe, let's say 120 pixels. But the border radius, we probably want this around 40 pixels. Oh, that's the challenging part. Or is it really? 30 pixels? Maybe something like that, but let's try it out. And this is going to start around, or it's going to be around 130 pixels from the right. So I guess right 130. Oh, what am I doing? 30 pixels here. Right, 130 pixels. Yep. And then we want this on the bottom, or no, the top, since this is not going to change actually. We want this around 135. On the top, 135 pixels, quite close. Right, 120. Oh, 45 maybe? No. 40, 140. Albert is saying, I'm trying to write again at least 4 articles per month. It's about learning how to Google. After this, I need to complete a tutorial on 811Y images. Oh, that's actually pretty nice, but 4 articles per month, man, that's crazy. 4 articles per month. It's for me with the work that I have, with full-time job, and because I do this YouTube thing and everything on my free time, but 4 articles per month, that's huge. And having like proper 4 articles, because on this also considering that you have to promote everything, and I guess it's crazy. 4 articles, good for you though. And especially when English is not my native language, and then you have to use Grammarly or something to fix your grammar. All right, moving on. We did this. We said that we want this 70 pixels, but this is going to be smaller like this, and I think it's not quite into the curve, but also it is kind of at the same time. But this is also the CSS magic, where sometimes you just have to try it out. We can't. Yeah, mine too. Grammarly Premium is dope. Yeah, I'm not quite active writing articles, and I want to actually get started with that, but there's so little time to do everything. And definitely I'm going to get a premium version of Grammarly too. That improves your text a lot. I've seen some stuff that I would never thought of that it improves. All right, getting back into the design. I know that it has been quite late. Thank you very much for everybody joining in and being so far here with me. And I hope that you guys have learned something new from all this journey. And for me, it has been a blast. So now let's just submit this and see how we did. I'm expecting around 70-80% score for this bed. Oh, 87.9% match. Wow. That's not bad. 352 characters though. We could do way less than that, but I think for tonight is enough. And për krejt shqiptarët që grupit Albanian developers, edhe mos gabofsha pej chanelit Ylber Veliut për programera, shumë faleminderit që jeni bashkangjit, edhe u kon knatësi me bashkëbisedu me juve, me shumicën për juve që keni shkruar në chat, edhe kom kalu ekstrem mirë, shumë më vështirë me bo live se sa që kom mendu. Albert is saying, I'm using it everywhere, each comment, each tweet. Yeah, man. All right, so thank you very much for everybody like hopping in and watching this graphic being built pixel by pixel, and this, just know that helped me a lot because I'm trying also to reach monetization on YouTube, and by doing live events, I guess it's the best way to do this. And for those who thought that this wasn't that good and you got bait by the thumbnail, thank you still for being here. But yeah, thank you very much from everybody, and see you into the next one. So thank you, see you. Yeah, Alvarez should be happy, but in private I would name it that way, not here. Mimo said, "Rucked that snake. Thanks for the stream." Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much for joining in, and I hope you had some fun. Leonard Berisha, bravo. Faleminderit. Look at the solutions. Yeah, Johnson, I can look at the solutions, but mine is better. I don't want to look at these because you can't actually look at all these solutions from other people. Elvares, faleminderit shumë. Let's just minimize this, submit this, and yeah, have a better score. What something else we could look at? Yeah, we're still at 76,000. All right, thank you very much for joining in again, and this is it. Bye.